Hello, Steve Arts 89. Well, I have been doing a bit of a Friday the 13th marathon for the last week. Now, normally every Friday the 13th, but only on Friday the 13th I watch the Friday the 13th films. Normally it's like a weekend thing, but this last week I've kept going back to it because there's so many new interviews and documentaries and things that I haven't watched that have been piling up, or new ones, and it just ended up dragging out to the whole week. And there's a couple of things that have been bothering me I wanted to comment on, and one of the things that I didn't comment on before because since I've had a YouTube channel, the person had passed away and just felt wrong talking about them, but I just don't care anymore because I've listened to them go on about the same thing over and over again the last couple of days in different interviews and specials and commentaries and stuff, and it's just kind of annoying me. And I thought, you know what, the whole John Buechler versus Paramount, the MPAA, and Barbara Sachs thing, although I see his point on a couple of things, for the most part it was his fault what happened, and it's really frustrating to watch him play the victim and complain and take no responsibility for any of the flaws with the film and any of the factors that contributed to the editing of the film and the cuts. Now, number one, as far as ratings, the ratings in America are different from Australia and the UK. And in Australia, Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood, was the first Friday the 13th film that got a M15 rating. Now, in Australia, it goes M15, then R18. I think in America, there's R18 and there's some variation of M that actually is more extreme or something, which I never understood. But, yeah, Part 7 and Part 8 were M15 films, so they couldn't be as gory. And knowing that, I mean, did he know that going in that they were going to be not doing an R-rated film? I don't know. But basically, the main problem was he, being an effects, creator, now a director, he really just focused the whole film and centered the whole film around showcasing the effects. And because it was an M15 film and they couldn't show off the effects as much because, they couldn't go as far with the gore, it was always going to have issues because, unlike Halloween, which didn't have much gore, if Halloween had gore but they cut it all out, the film still would have worked because they focused on tone and atmosphere and story and character and all those things, and it was well shot. Friday the 13th Part 7, it's shot like a TV movie, and I don't blame the director of photography for that, I blame the director. And there's really no tension, there's no atmosphere, there's very little character work, you really don't relate to the characters, and it's really just Jason walking up and killing someone, and the effects sort of being centered. And one of the other issues I think there was something he kept doing was he kept doing really tight close-ups and cut-ins for the effect shot, which just looks bad because, when you don't have the whole person in the shot, they're just cutting into like a prosthetic piece, and it really announces itself as an effect. And even though it's not real, it really doesn't read as real. So, and it's really easy to edit them out because they just seem gratuitous and unnecessary and sort of separated from the rest of the scene or the rest of the shot or setup or whatever. And that's basically the problem with the film. Why they edited so much out was because it really was just about the effects, just about the gore, and that was the payoff. And once you remove the payoff, there's all this. There's some build-up. There's not even much build-up, but there's some build-up and then no payoff, and it just doesn't work. And that's why so many scenes in the film just run flat. And it's mostly because of his bad direction. He didn't do a good job directing the film. He was just focused on the superficial element of the effects, and once they were cut down, there was nothing more there. The only reason why the film sort of works, and it is still good, is one of my favourites, I find, is because of the whole Carrie versus Jason element and Tina taking on Jason rather than just being a victim running and giving him a fight, is pretty good, and I do like the film on that level. But that's just purely a concept thing. That's not how it was actually done. The delivery still isn't that good. So it's annoying to watch him bitch and complain and play the victim when the reason why they cut so much out of the film was because it was gratuitous and superficial and poorly shot and easy to remove because it was, so that's all his fault. Now the endings I'm on his side for though, because Barbara Sachs just had an issue with him and had an issue with the Tina's father basically being a zombie in Evil Dead and coming back and pulling Jason down into the lake, because that's really the only thing that makes sense, that another zombie or Evil Dead could pull Jason back down and keep him down there. But she said, no, we were only going to have straight makeup on that actor, and they reshot it, and it looks ridiculous. It doesn't work. It's laughable. It ruins the ending of the film. There was a second ending that I thought was bad initially. It's a guy sitting in a fishing boat, then Jason jumps up and pulls him down. And I think it's the wrong decision overall because it basically defeats the purpose of the whole film and undermines the whole film because, well, they didn't trap him back down the bottom lake. He's still there waiting to pull anyone down. But it was at least shot better than originally when I saw it. It was just the guy being pulled down, but it's actually longer. You see him actually pulling up a fish, and it's sort of played for attention for a minute where you think maybe he's caught Jason or Jason's got the other end of the line, and then it's just a fish, and then while he's dealing with that, Jason pulls up, and it's almost a surprise, which, considering how many times I've seen it, the scene actually works. I don't think it worked overall for the film, but it worked as a scene. So I'll give John credit for that, but that's about it. So I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think.